I'm sure that speaker would share your sentiments and your thoughts on how what the ideas are. So with that, I see hands at all for public comment speak. Sir.
Well, my comments.
State your name.
It's a Painter from Massena. My comments are about your old business. Can we wait till then? Or?
Island Road?
Yes.
Yeah, if you would.
Okay.
I think you're going to find it favorable. Anyone else? Public comment. Sir, state your name, please.
Will Gray, St. Louis County. We'll start off with May. You're not on the list anymore. You have one way of looking at merit against illegal guns, that they would push to enforce the laws against the illegal guns, such as the handgun, which I know is a high level over there on Dodge Street. That would be the way to go. Not to support safe handgun, which is doing nothing more than affecting honest people. The governor of New York State saw fit to pass this law in the middle of the night with no public input, took no consideration of gun owners, didn't talk to anybody except for his political minions who were his yes men. That's fine. Now, on the other hand, he's looking to pass a women's rights bill. I'm all for women's rights. Don't get me wrong on that.
You better be. You may need that gun. Just kidding.
I have one of them. That's a good one. Yeah, very good. I like these too. My problem is, he is taking as much input as he can from the women of New York State. What to put in the law, what to, how to word it, this, that, and the other thing. But the bottom line, he wants to make it easier for abortions. Now, he passed the SAFE Act as a reaction to Newtown. He did this when children, God forbid. Now he wants to pass this other one to make it easier for abortions. We want 111,000 innocent babies. I'm against abortion. I have never allowed any of my children. Would never be considered. But if we're going to save with the gun law, why don't we save the abortion? The gun law, oh, geez, I'm losing my train of thought. It's going to start to sweat and get nervous. There's too many people here.
Want to come up here?
Sure.
Go right.
It's more supporting your constituents that own guns, that believe in guns. The honest people, not the people that live on Dodge Street and Beach Street. Those are the people that have the illegal guns. They're not carrying rifles, they're carrying a handgun, which is where the problem is. When you get a handgun in these guys' hands, you don't know it. They're not going to carry a rifle because it's too hard to see. And all the SAFE Act is doing is infringing on what we want for our weapon of choice. Sporting, hunting, target shooting, there's a myriad of reasons. It's not just a killing machine as the government would have us believe. I just want to see everybody put a resolution together. I have a copy of the Northward resolution. It's a lot shorter and easier than the county resolution. I'd be more than happy to give it to you guys. I just want to see as many towns, villages in St. Louis County support the resolution. Yes, there is good points to it. I don't want to see crazy mental imbalance have guns. Or we probably got their probably crazy mental imbalance over there. I don't want the violent criminal to have guns. But don't infringe on our right to have our weapon of choice. And that's all he's doing. So he doesn't hear from the public, no comment from gun owners. He takes comments to a court of law.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just to let you know that the county obviously did pass the resolution.
Yes.
And having representatives from our area
Yes.
that are on the county board actually speak for the residents of the community anyway. So just
Well,
like
I'd just like to see, everybody in town, every village.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Sir.
I'm Mike Hurt from Massena. How long All we're really asking is to have a resolution from each town to support repeal of the SAFE Act because of the way that it was passed and the provisions that are in it. It doesn't address crime. And we've got 20,000 gun laws that already address illegal guns. There's nothing that was in that that addresses crime. So if we can show the state a common face from every town as well as county, that's what we're asking for. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Gray, if you would, send me the new resolution that you had. Send that to me.
I have it right here.
But if you could submit that to the clerk,
Certainly will.
I'd very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Sir.
Yeah, Ed Campion from Massena. I think the real point here in the SAFE Act, I'm not for the SAFE Act as well, but I think the real message here is that I think in any governmental institution, the way this was passed was wrong. You need public input, just as I asked this board here to listen to my point of view about different things about this town. And I think people really take it, well, they get angered when our governmental elected officials do things with a stuff-it-in-your-face attitude. And I think, my look at this is, I think the village board should pass a resolution against, it's not necessarily against the SAFE Act, which, sure, that's what we're talking about, but as tell the state, stop doing this message of necessity thing that they do. How many, are we being invaded by aliens that we need to pass something in the middle of the night? I don't think so. But they constantly do this, and it's wrong. And I think you're seeing, with our economy in New York State and everything, nothing is really great in this state. I think you're starting to see people maybe hopefully get a little more involved. This is not right what they did. So I think, I encourage this board, and any time the state does this thing, we should be against doing this. Because public comment is important for free, democracy to move forward. You've got to let the people speak, whether you agree with them or not, you have to let the people speak.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sir, Mr. Supervisor.
William Edwards, Town of Massena. I'd like to amplify a little bit on what Mr. Knepp said. I'm not here to talk about guns don't kill people. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. But what I'm here to say is to amplify on Mr. Knepp. This was done totally wrong. It was done in the dark of night. No public comment. No real comment within the legislature, and it's totally wrong for a democracy to act in this manner. And I would like to say to each and every one of you on the board to take this opportunity to reject or vote for your displeasure in a resolution and send it to Albany and say, look, we want this to be done over and we want to do it right. And as everybody probably knows, there is a mechanism right within the Constitution on how to amend the Constitution. And that has nothing to do with, in the middle of the night, a small group deciding what's best for all without any public comment or whatever. So I would plead to each one of you gentlemen and ladies to think about it and let's start defending the country instead of trying to tear the country down. We lose, probably while I'm speaking here and you gentlemen are listening to me, we're losing a right every single day, and we don't even know it. And I've said to kids, and my own kids and other people's kids, you feel that you're free today? Oh yeah, I feel free today. Well, I said, I want to tell you something. You're not as free as I was when I grew up. Let's correct this thing. Let's have a reasonable discussion amongst men and women from downstate, out west, up here. One shoe does not fit all. And this was done wrong, and it's got to be corrected. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else?
Kurt, I'm Jim Lambert from Massena. Jim, I think what needs to be done is give the governor an idea. Tell him it came from Massena. Get your groups of people together right now and start to discuss this repeal of the SAFE Act now. And when it does come to your table that everyone says repeal the SAFE Act, you can say, Mr. Governor, yes, we repeal the SAFE Act and we have already discussed it and this is what we have on this side and in the middle and on that side have come together and decided would work. So he can repeal it and he can have a new act if he starts talking about it now. Don't wait, Mr. Governor. Give him that idea.
Thank you. Let me ask you, obviously we have a number of people here that are interested in the SAFE Act. Can I, of the 5 speakers that have spoken right now, can I see a show of hands that support what they've said? I'd say the majority, okay? So I think we're all in agreement. Does anyone oppose what he said? One hand, okay. I think with that, we're pretty clear on the picture that you're trying to paint here. So with that, I would ask the board if we could dispense of hearing from the others, and then we could.
I would say anybody that wants to be heard.
Yeah,
Could I just?
certainly, sir. Yeah.
The last gentleman.
If you'd stand and shake.
Sorry, I'm Miles Manchester from Massena. I'm the guy who wrote the article in the paper about last summer buying an AK-47 rifle with 230 round magazines and 800 rounds of ammunition with no background checks, no identification, a phone call and cash money. And basically I did it because I thought, I don't think this kind of weaponry should change hands like this. I don't object to the man who had it. He had a background check when he bought it, but when he sold it, he had no obligation to verify where it was going. He had no mechanism as an individual to verify that I was not a criminal, that I was not mentally ill. And so out and out repeal without something to put in place immediately, as this gentleman just said, out and out immediate repeal with nothing to back it up, I think would be a mistake. Because immediately everybody who would like to get their hands on those kinds of weapons will do it. So all the criticisms about how the law was implemented, I agree with wholeheartedly. But the bottom line is, there was a whole range of weapons that are basically military, essentially with some minor changes to convert them from full automatic to semi-automatic. And that's basically the primary difference between those weapons. I don't think those weapons should change hands like that. I would be perfectly happy if people with pistol permits, for example, owned the type of weapon that I have, because you would know they've gone through the kind of background check that would pretty well ensure they were responsible. But for these kind of weapons to just change hands like baseball cards and sporting goods makes no sense to me. But the idea of having something in place to maintain some form of background check is, I think, critical, and full repeal would just open the door, and then there'd be this gap in time when all those kind of weapons would be just changing hands wildly again.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Sir.
Brad Kirchner, Village of Massena. I'm glad you said what you said, but did you know that up until 1968?
Wait, hold on. Bill, direct right to
Up
the chair.
until 1968, I could buy out of the back of a DC comic a fully automatic weapon at age 16 by ordering it through the mail. You didn't see mass shootings. You didn't see people dying in the streets. It's not the gun, it's the times and the way people are brought up. It's the drugs, and it's the way children are now raised. I've had a gun since I was 5 years old, and I'm not going to say how old I am now, but my children have had guns since they were 5 years old. And they have better gun handling capabilities than most adults. Go back to being old school. Teach them how to handle them.
Thank you. Sir.
Dan Barnes, Massena. First, I'd like to address his comment about any modifications to an AR-15 turning a fully automatic. That's untrue. You can't turn an AR-15 into a fully automatic weapon. It's not possible. The other thing is, he talks about the deaths. In New York State in 2012, 5 people killed with rifles. But we don't even know how many of those were assault rifles. 5. More people killed with fists than hammers. And that's FBI statistics.
Thank you. And back there, sir.
Sean Gray, 56 East River Street, Massena. I think you're missing the point why these people are here. I don't think they're here as a group, first of all. I think they're here as individuals whose personal rights are being eroded one by one, as Mr. Edwards alluded to. The fact is, I think they're here because they were upset with your actions or lack of action at the last meeting. And if you don't want to outright oppose the entire law, I think you should make it clear to the governor what parts you do oppose and the methodology, passing it in the middle of the night. Embrace the parts that you feel are good and that most people here feel are good, but certainly come out and speak against the parts that are bad. You have the right to do that. You have the ability to do that, to make a resolution. But as far as the governor, I mean, let's face it. We all know that Newtown and most of those issues are mental health issues. 95% of them. And our governor, who wants to protect us by taking our guns, wants to close psychiatric centers and put more of these people on the street. Totally, I mean, what a contradiction. So I think it behooves this board, and that's why the people are here, to ask you to act, to put something on the table, to send something to the governor that says this is not acceptable. The law as it is written right now is not acceptable. There are parts of it that are, and certainly the way that you passed it is completely unacceptable. Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah, as somebody who,
Take your name.
Derek Rushing, down in Massena. As somebody who's actually dealt with this law, I just got 2 handguns from another individual with a pistol permit. And the way the law reads now, I had to pick him up from Cherubusco. I had to bring him all the way to Solvay's Cycle Shop, because there's only 2 places in the county that actually let you bring them in. Then they have to hold them. Then you have to go all the way to Canton. You have to register them. Then you have to come back, and you have to have the person who you bought them off of with you to do that. And the way the law reads, it's the same for shotguns, rifles, or doesn't matter if you know the people 30 years. They're just trying to make it difficult enough where we'll just give up on it. I mean, it's like the attachment section of it. I still don't understand it. The law was written so general that they can enforce it whenever they want. I don't know what an attachment on a rifle is. Does that mean I can't have a flashlight on it? I mean, last I knew, flashlights don't kill people. Them pesky bullets. So I just wonder, I don't think people understood the law when they wrote it, let alone now. I don't think they've understood how much it's infringed on your rights. That's all I can say.
No, thank you. Anyone else?
I have another point, Jim.
Jim, you've already had the floor. Thank you. Sir.
Chad Blair, Massena again. One real quick point, out of the 63 or 65 counties we have in New York State, over 55 of them are states that they don't want to do anything on villages and towns to follow the same rules and regs, and we don't like this, we need to bring them better and, take care of the problems that you approve upon us as, homeowners' rights. That's about it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, that's it for public comment. Oh, I'm sorry. Sir.
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments. It's not
Name,
related
please.
to, say, Wayne Hazelton. And in talking about doing things in the dark and that, it seemed like in the past couple of weeks, you've held executive sessions saying going into a legal and contractual. You should be making a statement so that people at least know what you're going into that executive session for. You come out of one, sold the Slayman's building. You just knew about it that night and then took a vote on it after the executive session. Nobody knew what you wanted an executive session for. Now, that building was sold for $1, $500,000, maybe it's all good. What is it, an insider deal, or are we using money from the village to get a grant, or what is the story there? I didn't think they had the right to know, and when was a property declared no longer usable, excessive property? That shouldn't be. The other executive session was to hire an attorney for $100,000, and it just happened to come up between the meetings. Why is the village getting involved in a $100,000 lawyer to fight the power authority? Number one, it's a town entity. Why do we have to pay both town and village for a lawyer? Not right. The other thing is that there was a group that tried to tell everybody when they were negotiating for this Power Authority, what they should be looking for, and they were ignored. But you know, Potsdam listened. And if you look at it, the research center that was involved with St. Lawrence Aquarium is going to be built in Potsdam. There's over $10 million going to Potsdam. The other thing is the governor has passed a law, or tried to pass a law to say that that tax-free land up there can be used for industry. We're making out well. We should hire more attorneys, and we can go further to whole. It just doesn't make sense to me. Another thing you want to think about in Potsdam works with National Grid through a series of dams. They receive money from National Grid. Do they share that with us? But no, we share Power Authority money with them. Think about it.
I thank you for that. And if you want the answer to those questions, please either come down to my office and I certainly can't speak for past administration on how the feelings with the NIPA and all the others. I'm sure you probably know the history better than I. But anyway, any other comments, concerns?
I'd just like to add to that.
No, Mr. Thank you very much. You've had your time, and I appreciate your
Well,
comments.
thank you, Mayor.
You're very
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Thank you.